I got real stuffers. I got stab and shoot something. Listen, like, yeah, if you need all that pain, you might as well sell that thing. You might as well sell that thing. Check this out. Y'all want to see a show? I tell you one thing, you heard me? I bet to piss out everybody mama in this bitch. Ooh, they hit! Oh, let me wrong catch up. You wrong catch up. I told this nigga I want to catch up there doing a commercial. Oh, Lord! Oh, Lord. Let me pull it. Hold on.
Rivers are terrific natural barriers. They're great for defenders, but really difficult for attacking forces to overcome. And if you can't get across the river, well, then your attack will stall. Now, I know this is not the Strait of Hormuz, but what if I told you that this has been tried before? What if I told you that ground troops have been deployed before during a tactical mission during the Second World War? Now, I just want to say that I am not trying to predict the outcome of a ground invasion of Iran. No, but just information given on when this same procedure was undertaken by Allied forces and the outcome. The rest I will let you decide. Operation Market Garden targeted 9 bridges at various points around the south of the Netherlands. The plan: Market would see paratroopers from the UK and US take and hold the crossings, while Garden would see British land forces swiftly reinforcing the bridges. It sounds simple, and the tactics proven. The operation came with a number of inbuilt problems. It relied on each and every element working. If one part was to fail, it could lead to a cascade effect where many elements of the mission became completely untenable. The mission started promisingly. In the first landing of paratroopers and gliders, over 80% landed within 3,300 feet of their intended drop zone. That's a remarkable success. And here the plan began to tweak and eventually fail. Only half of the division arrived with the first airdrop, so they were down on numbers. And Hitler had seen to it that there were far more German troops in the area than anticipated, including elements of the Waffen SS. Plus, he'd reappointed sacked generals, and they were starting to become much better organised and more deadly. As the fighting raged, it became clear there was no hope of relief for the British troops pinned down at the north of Arnhem Bridge. They fought on, some only with knives, but eventually they were captured. Attempts were made to retake the bridge, including valiantly by the 1st Polish Parachute Brigade, but these also failed. Ultimately, the Allies withdrew from Arnhem back to Nijmegen. Estimates say in the whole operation, up to 17,000 Allied troops were killed, injured or captured. 500 Dutch civilians lost their lives. Hitler exacted his revenge on the Netherlands by cutting off food supplies. 22,000 civilians died of hunger. So you see, a mission like the taking of the Strait of Hormuz can be a risky gamble, especially when dealing with a regime that has been preparing for the past 2 decades. History always repeats itself. All I want to do is present the facts to you. The rest is for you to decide. Please, if you want to know more, join me on Patreon. Just Google Patreon/The True Agenda.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today we don't have a extremely long video, but we do have some content that we need to get through. It is early. It took me a lot to get here, you guys, to be able to record. I've been having a lot going on, but you know, life be life, and then we just glide through it. Like that short I post with that Boo song when it was like was it the Sudan people that was doing their little dance that I can't do it, but yes, gliding through life circumstances and trials and tribulations. So I made it to the studio to be able to record for you guys. So let me go ahead and get to the content. My hair keeps getting in my mouth and it's annoying. I'm not sure why it's so dark right here for whatever reason today. So if it's a lighting issue, you guys, my apologies in advance. But let's get to the content. So I ain't gonna hold you guys any longer than I have already been rambling, which I haven't really had a long welcome. I'm looking at the timer right here, so it's not that long. So without any further ado, go get whatever you need to chill with me. And let's get to the content, y'all. So let's go.
When the third part of the angels of God fell in Revelation 12 and 4, and including Genesis 6, Enoch 6, Jude 6, 6, 6, 6, they were called Gregories, the fallen angels. Before they were called Nephilims, They were called the Gregories, and this is where we get the Gregorian calendar.
Yeah, but Nephilims were offsprings of fallen angels and women.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. But they came as Gregories, which became Nephilims because of the offspring through the daughters of men. And matter of fact, in Genesis 6, it talks about that term, daughters of men. They were looking for a particular DNA. They were looking for a DNA because these fallen angels wanted to redesign creation to be a species. So God never designed you and I to be a species. God never designed you and I to be human. Now that term human, according to the Ballantyne's Black's Law Dictionary, that's right, it means sea monster.
Sea monster.
And so the term human means sea monster. God did not design you and I to be sea monsters or a multi-head type of creature, the Kraken. God did not design us to be a fetus, because the term fetus means an animalistic cargo. It's these words that have been attached to creation that has brought curses. So the Gregories were the ones who gave the 13-month calendar to mankind through the daughters of men out of the 3 volumes of Enoch.
That was interesting. I will say that Black's Law Dictionary, I think that we all should really study that and read that, because you really, like, the way the world operates is literally off those definitions in that book. And that is also how your penal code system, the criminal justice system, they work off of those laws and the terminology in there. So also too, we're under maritime admiralty law, which is the law of the water. Make sense? Now, are we making a correlation? So yeah, that's something that I think that we need to get into seriously on this channel. Like, maybe make a video of it by itself, because yeah, we need to learn about that, because this is what it's operating under. So you can't really play chess if you don't understand the game.
The boardroom for the fallen angels. There's 200 fallen angels according to the book of Enoch. 200 angels descended to earth. 200 people for religious meetings can meet at the top of that pyramid. That's the hole in the middle of the boardroom. That hole right there. Right down there. Over the hanging gardens. Those hanging gardens. I know, the hanging gardens of Babylon. The boardroom is over the hanging gardens in the pyramid. That's the sign on the elevator. At the top of that pyramid, right there. If you don't have wings when you go through the boardroom table, you're going to end up right there. And they were in all 200 who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon. All about the Watchers is written in Enoch, Book 1. And if you go to my link tree on my bio page, that codex that I make, it has the Book of Jubilees in it, Enoch 1, the Book of Jasher, the Book of Gad, and the Gospel of Nicodemus, the descent into the underworld. And the underworld doesn't have a lobby with a glass pyramid in it. The Knights of the Round Table, over the hanging gardens. I hope they don't hit this Jesus statue right here while they're bombing Lebanon, because Lebanon was tired. Right here in the book of Isaiah, it tells you that Lebanon shall see the glory of the Lord. Come on, you know I'm going to take you right there. All you got to do is scroll in. Touch that little dude right there. Boom, bam, it all lights up. And then it's that blue dot right there on the bridge. Bam. It goes over and you scroll it, move it. 1, 2, 3. The glory of the Lord, right there. I go by Ezekiel 33:3, and that scripture says that when I see the sword fall upon the land, I blow the trumpet and warn the people. So like and follow the trumpet for more. And in Jesus' name, have a blessed day.
I use 33 so hard because besides me, my gematria numbers adding up to it in so many different aspects of my life. That is my job. My job is to blow the trumpet and to expose the bush. But I wanted to talk about those books of the Bible that he talked about. Those are in the Apocrypha, that is not in the canon. And this is why I was speaking about the fact that they split the Bible up and they took out the meat, really, because if once you put them together and you start to study, and it takes a while. I'm still working on it. I am nowhere near where I'm gonna be, but it shows you everything, and it makes sense. So where people, like, I know when I was younger, I used to be, I made all hundreds in religion class when I was in Catholic school, and I was very into the church. I was Catholic. I was an altar server. Yeah, I was Catholic. I did things in church. I was in the choir, children's ministry. When I got older, I was heavily involved in church, praise dance. So my whole life has been about the word. And I always used to be like, Mom, it used to be so confusing because they would break up stories and I wouldn't understand, like, where's the rest of it? But now at the age that I am, I understand. Y'all think I wonder why, as I'm scrolling to the next video, why was it taken out? Deceive. And Satan, per the word, is the father of the lies, deception. That's his job. So why, it's like, when God says you have to put your own energy, like you have to really put your energy into your own personal spiritual journey, that's what he means. You need to go look.
While Trump pressures Iran with military threats and Venezuela with economic sanctions, something else is happening in the Middle East that's reshaping the entire region: the Abraham Accords. And what's really happening with these peace agreements is far more significant than the headlines suggest. Let me show you what I mean, because once you see the pattern, you'll understand why the pressure on Iran isn't happening in isolation. It's happening as part of a larger realignment that the prophets described thousands of years ago. The Abraham Accords began in 2020, when Israel signed normalization agreements with the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain. Then came Sudan, then Morocco. 4 Arab nations that had technically been in a state of war with Israel for decades, suddenly establishing diplomatic relations, trade agreements, and security cooperation. These aren't just diplomatic agreements. They're a fundamental realignment of the Middle East. For 70 years, the Arab world was officially united against Israel. Every Arab nation maintained the same position: no recognition, no negotiation, no peace until the Palestinian issue was resolved. That consensus is shattering. And here's what's driving the change. The Sunni Arab nations, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain, and others, aren't making peace with Israel because they suddenly love the Jewish state. They're making peace because they fear the Persian state even more. Think about what that means geopolitically. Iran has been building influence across the Middle East for decades, and the Sunni Arab nations watched this expansion with growing alarm. And suddenly, Israel, the nation the Arab world had officially opposed for 7 decades, looked less like an enemy and more like an ally against a common threat. But here's where this becomes prophetically significant. And this is...
It was a hot night in 2020. Inside the White House. Behind a locked door, President Trump, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, and UAE Crown, Prince Mohammed bin Zayed, sat in silence.
We have a unique opportunity to strengthen our partnership and address global challenges together.
The Abraham Accords were about to be announced, a peace treaty that would change the Middle East forever. But no one knew this was not just a treaty. It was a key to an ancient secret. Somewhere in the shadows, a CIA agent named Alex Harper, working covertly for Mossad, had stolen the classified documents. He believed this wasn't peace. It was a deception. On a rooftop in Dubai, with the city lights below him, Alex opened the encrypted files. "This can't be real," he whispered. The documents revealed something unbelievable. The Abraham Accords were based on an ancient Hebrew manuscript lost in 1948 when Israel was founded. Inside that manuscript was a map leading to a treasure buried beneath Jerusalem. Not gold, but a technology from a lost civilization. A machine that could draw power from the air enough to turn deserts into paradise. Each nation wanted it for a different reason. UAE to gain power over Saudi Arabia, Israel to silence its enemies, the United States to win the war for global energy. The peace treaty was just a mask. The real mission was to dig up the treasure and hide it from the world. Alex sent the files to a journalist, but then a knock at the door. Bang! Mossad agents burst in. "You've seen too much," one of them said, and fired. As Alex fell bleeding, he pressed send on his phone, his final message. Abraham, Accord secret. The treasure is under Jerusalem. The next day, the world celebrated the peace accord. But in the narrow streets of Jerusalem, rumors began to spread. The ground was trembling as if something was being unearthed. Was this peace or the greatest deception in history? The secret remains buried, but not for long. Not for long.
It makes you wonder what is the war really going on. Like, I really do feel like it's way deeper than what they're saying. But of course, like, I don't expect nothing more or nothing different. Really, I don't expect nothing more than the lies.
I hope you're going to be getting into the Abraham Accords finally. Yeah, so will you please go back and explain? It's time now. You know, Muhammad said, oh yes, as soon as we do this, as soon as we do that. I said, Muhammad, we did that. Oh yes, but we have a couple of other things. It's now time. We've now taken them out and they are out bigly. We got to get into the Abraham Accords. And we hope all of the countries are going to be in the Abraham Accords. Now we have some very brave countries that did it, you know, years ago. They went in and you know who they are, the four, the early four. And they did a great thing in doing it. And it was great for them also economically. For 47 years, Iran has been known as the bully of the Middle East. But they are not the bully any longer. They're on the run. I really believe we saved the Middle East. We saved not just Israel, we saved the Middle East. And it was proven by all those rockets that fired down upon you. Saudi Arabia got hit a lot. You all got hit, and nobody expected any missiles to be wasted.
Are we making the correlation? Because, I mean, the thing is, they play with your life, my life, the life of our loved ones, the life of people that we don't know, but they have loved ones for personal gain, for power and control. Boy, I tell you.
Then why do we celebrate Easter? Why do you hide eggs and bunny rabbits? Well, think about what bunny rabbits are known for. Humping. Dude, you put two rabbits together, dude, next thing you know, there's 100. And then the Easter eggs is fertility. It was for the god of Ishtar. Isn't that crazy? Most people don't know that. Way back in the day, they celebrated by having orgies and making babies. So 9 months later, they could sacrifice those babies to Horus, the sun god, who was born December 25th, by the way. Now, when do they say Jesus was born? December 25th. He wasn't. And everybody knows that. You go ask any biblical scholar, they will say he was not born in December 25th. Then why are we celebrating Christmas?
Make it make sense. I will not tell you guys how I know about the rabbit situation, but that is interesting. Very much interesting.
Easter was originally created as a celebration of these events in worship to the goddess of fertility and the power of the sun. The name Easter is said to have derived from Eostre or Ishtar. Constantine merged the winter solstice, the celebration of Astarte, and the Christian celebrations of Christ's resurrection all together for political reasons. Okay, so this is how it all got merged together. Why is there eggs, bunnies, and candy? What does that have to do with Resurrection Sunday? Look at somebody say, nothing. Nothing. No, the egg represents life. What? No egg crack. I didn't come out no cracked egg. And Jesus wasn't in one either. Amen. And what the chocolate bunny represent? I was about to say something real racist, but it's Resurrection Sunday. I'm gonna let it go. Yeah, Easter's paganism predates Christ's resurrection. So all this symbolism was happening before Jesus' resurrection. Secular symbolism used during Easter is pagan and has no significance to Christ's death, burial, and resurrection. So folks, quit trying to do that. The eggs represent the rebirth or fertility, as well as the bunny rabbits because of the Sumerian goddess of fertility. Chocolate Easter bunnies and eggs, marshmallow chicks, Cadberries. Somebody got them in their purse, they gonna melt. Pastel colors, candies of all sorts. All of this have pagan origins, and ancient pagans' belief is to ingest the God you worship. Likewise, the candy, Easter bunnies, and eggs allow one to ingest the goddess of fertility in worship to her. So one can lay hold to her strength, vitality, and fertility. That's where it came from. This is why the eggs are boiled and colored to be more pleasing to the eyes and the stomach. So all of this is pagan.
This may be controversial, but if it's pagan to eat the god, a goddess that you worship, don't we do that for communion? First of all, that's crazy that majority of the country don't like him. But when did Texas and Louisiana get into that? Because I thought that the people over there in them little other towns, other than the one I stay in, and y'all know what I'm talking about. I thought that they was all Hail Trump type people. Well, not like this, because but you all get what I'm saying. They was like Hail Trump type people. So that was shocking to see that they flipped. Things that make you go,
This is Erica Kirk. Another Erica Kirk. Same exact name, same exact spelling, both political wives, both married to outspoken Republicans. Current Erica is nicknamed Miss Arizona, and the first Erica was nicknamed Madam X. People called the first Erica Kirk Madam X because they say she just kind of showed up out of nowhere. Both have striking blue eyes and blonde hair. They even do their eyeliner the same, and personally, I think they have the same face structure. The first Erica Kirk passed away now, but was from Palm Beach County, Florida, which raises another huge red flag. If you've been following my videos, you know why. I don't want to tell you guys what to think. I'm simply giving you the information. Do you think these are like all coincidences, or is there something else going on here?
What do you guys think?
You just suggested that Iran somehow got its hands on a tomahawk and bombed its own elementary school on the first day of the war. But you're the only person in your government saying this. Even your defense secretary wouldn't say that when he was asked, standing over your shoulder on your plane on Saturday. Why are you the only person saying this?
Because I just don't know enough about it. I think it's something that I was told is under investigation. But tomahawks are used by others, as you know. Numerous other nations have tomahawks. They buy them from us. But I will certainly, whatever the report shows, I'm willing to live with that report.
It's now been about 2 weeks since the strike on a school that Iranian officials say killed at least 168 people, the majority of them children. The US says it's investigating the attack, but hasn't released any details of what it's found. But early findings from the investigation, reported by the BBC's partner CBS News, indicate the US was likely responsible for the attack, which used out-of-date intelligence to mistakenly target the school. It's now under growing pressure to answer the questions over its involvement. Let's go over what we know. On the 28th of February, a primary school in the southern city of Minab was hit in one of the deadliest strikes of the war so far. Iranian authorities say 168 people were killed, including 110 children. Satellite imagery shows the area, including the military base next door, was hit several times. Then, a key video emerged of the moment a missile hits the military base. Slowing it down and zooming in, multiple weapons analysts told us this is a US Tomahawk missile, a weapon neither Israel nor Iran are known to possess. Experts say the presence of the US Tomahawk missile, along with satellite imagery showing the area was hit with multiple strikes, points to a US operation. This contradicts what President Trump has previously said.
Based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran.
These images were posted on X by Iranian state media. Experts say they show the twisted remains of a US missile, which we geolocated to the site of the strike. Analysts at the open source munitions portal, which tracks weapons used in conflicts across the globe, identified it as a Tomahawk cruise missile. But it's not clear where or how these were recovered.
If you guys don't know about that situation, I implore you to go and check it out and look into it. But that's some bullshit. And y'all know how I feel about children. Elderly and children, I'm like, those are people that you need to protect. And it's disgusting. And then to sit there and do the gaslighting and the manipulation, y'all know. I didn't put the other video because I was rushed on time with this, but I think in the next video, I'm going to put the other video where it talks about the two the captains, I'm not sure, in the military that ordered the bombings, and that information breakdown.
Northwest seen perform in front of the G logo, a Freemasonic logo used in Freemasonry, right? And I don't care how popular I get or how famous I get. When I have children, they're not gonna be shucking and jiving and performing on stages for a bunch of weird people, because I know these industries, bro. They're weird, bro. You gotta think about even all that, like, what's that shit called? Fashion, runway, and all that stuff, where they be having little girls walking on the runway. Who do you think made that shit? The same Epstein file dudes, bro. You gotta really look at this Babylon culture for what it is. Not, oh, I want to be a singer, dad. No, this industry weird as hell. And if you do want to be a singer, it's going to be independent or something. Like, it ain't going to be performing on stage, trying to be famous. Because when you a kid, you think, like, oh, it's a kid star. No, bro. And that's why Kanye was so mad and adamant about them not being. But, bro, you had a child with Kim Kardashian, bro. What did you expect? Like, you thought you was going to have control of that baby, bro?
In regards to Kanye actually just signed a deal with another label, which is a branch off of UMG, that he also signed North up to, which also has signed to this artist that North was on stage with this Masonic logo. So Kanye's he's still with it. I really feel like, honestly, the way they play things, confirmation, the way they play things, this was all a setup and a plur of energy to get the masses, and not Kanye have these concerts. And don't get me wrong, I like Kanye's music, but the proof is in the pudding.
Are you coming to the street? They strung up a man. They say the word of prayer. Strange things should happen to you. Stranger would it be? We met, I lived, right in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the street? Live and go.
So I put that on here so you can see that this was, I'm not sure if you guys have seen The Handmaid's Tale. I'm actually in the process of watching it. It is crazy. But I thought that was interesting on the No Kings rally, and really like drove the point right to the head, honestly.
This is exactly why some people do not deserve nice things. Papa Esidu, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but this man got cast for the role of Snape in the new Harry Potter series. And instead of people saying they don't like the role and just moving on, people resorted to threatening this man's life. and being racist towards them. And then the shit that blow me is people try to say, oh, it's just an opinion. Once you start throwing threats in there or being racist, how the fuck is that just an opinion? And what make this situation so worse is Snape is a fictional character. People getting mad over a fictional character, bruh. And you know it's getting serious when the police had to step in because the threats that was being made towards this man. He ain't doing shit but doing his job. He got cash for the role. He got it. And he's black. So what? You gotta think about it. People is sick in the mind, fool. That's not passion. That's not fandom. That's a sickness.
The definition of doing too damn much.
This Easter, there's going to be a metaphysical celestial alignment to where the star Regulus from the Leo star constellation is in alignment with the great Sphinx in Egypt. Now, this alignment happens every 26,000 years, which is equated to the precessional circle of the equinox, which represents the shifting process in the Great Awakening period. Because one thing you got to understand about the shift in itself is where the planet is transmuted into a 47-degree tilt, which represents the equity of human consciousness by way of man, woman, and child when you get into the 47 problem of Euclid. And when you break down the etymology of the word Easter, you get Ishtar, because Ishtar is the personification of Aset and Isis when you get into ancient Kemetic spirituality. So when it comes to westernized, paganized religions, they talk about the resurrection of mankind, but they don't talk about the resurrection of the matriarch, because the inception of Easter comes from Ishtar, who is Isis. So it's actually talking about the resurrection of the divine feminine energy on the planet. A lot of Christians don't understand the historical inception of where Easter comes from, because where in the damn Bible does it tell you to go look for Easter eggs? Where in the damn Bible, or just scientific proof that bunny rabbits lay eggs? That's because you're following the culture of mankind, which is Canaanite culture, which is basically derived from Babylonian culture that was created by Nimrod. In fact, when you break down the nomenclature title for Nimrod, it means master hunter. So your dumbass is out here hunting for eggs because you're following the ways of mankind. In fact, when you break down the etymological roots of the word Babylon, it means Babel in Greek terminology, which means confusion. So that's why you're confused about your belief systems and these pagan holidays.
This is fallen angel technology. Humans cannot do this. What you're looking at, by the way, that's a hair. What you're looking at is an Apple chip, a processor chip under a microscope. It's literally impossible we can do what you're about to see. It's quite obviously magic. It's literally magic, like it's always been since the beginning of time. Fallen angels giving us crazy technology that we could otherwise not do. If you think that humans could just out the blue do this, then you are fooled. This is literally a copycat, a mimic of God's creation of the earth on a microscopic level. I mean, look how the cities are laid out. Like in the stars, you can see a grid pattern, like an energy pattern that exists. Do you know how close in we are right now? This is so ridiculous to think that we could even do this. Our phones are literal black mirrors that we are holding in our hand. It's literal black magic. Literally, you can watch somebody else's life. Even further, if you're a hacker, you can hack into someone's phone and see what they're doing at the moment, exactly like a crystal ball in a diviner. Really quickly, just for perspective, this is the zoom out. Like how small this is freaking ridiculous that we could ever even, create at such a small, microscopic level. It is not human. I'm telling you, it's not human.
I agree.
When I was younger, my grandma would say, boy, you can't go outside tonight. It's a full moon. Those folks out there be acting crazy. Well, today we are having the full moon. No. The pink full moon on April Fools. Are we the fools? They made us believe New Year's is in January. No. They tricked us and took our abundance. April Fools. This video is about to get a little dark and a little deep. Stay with me. Back in ancient days, if you could predict the future, you was like a god. Yes, If you knew when it was going to rain, when crops was going to grow, you was a god. But those systems still exist right now. We just don't understand how it work. But the elites know exactly how it work. This will be the first full moon in spring. That means abundance. When you look at the moon, it's not going to be pink. The pink represents the pink blossoms in spring. Once you work with nature, you will get your abundance. Nature made no mistakes when she created the 4 seasons. Winter represents us in hibernation. Fall represents harvest and gratitude. So we are supposed to be harvesting in fall. Summer represents abundance and harvest. It's all about planting your seeds, whether it be in the soil or in here. Spring is all about rebirth, blossom, hope, resilience, beginning, ending, heart center, abundance. But we forgot how nature works, and the people that control this world, they are stealing our abundance. April Fools.
And didn't they launch that what is it, Artemis on April Fools to the moon? April Fools. But Happy New Year to you guys.
This gets wild. Not only did the bullet not match the supposed weapon that was used by Tyler Robinson, which by the way was covered by a UK Daily Mail channel, not even our country, but at the same time this article came out, something else really weird happened. The sheriff that arranged for Tyler to turn himself in resigned today. Today of all days. Hold up, this gets a lot bigger. We're not even close to done yet. Right now we're hearing that there might be a plot to take out the President of the United States. But who is really against that war? Charlie was the president's biggest advisor into geopolitical relationships. Joe Kent just stepped down and said he was not able to investigate all the leads they had.
Kirk was one of President Trump's closest advisors, and he also advocated heavily against a war with Iran. And then, Charlie Kirk is publicly in a very horrific way, and we're not really even allowed to look into that at all.
Then Joe Kent right here on Piers Morgan talking about how they had foreknowledge of this event with Charlie Kirk happening. So he resigns, then the board doesn't match, then the sheriff steps down, now about to have boots on the ground in Iran. And the biggest escalation we've seen yet may be on the horizon. You feel that? Something majorly is off. What do you think it is? Let me know.
What do you think? But I will say this. I don't agree a lot with Candace Owens, but she did, poke some holes into that story.
If you had a spiritual awakening, congratulations. The universe picked you. But you ready for it? I hear so many people say, I want to be enlightened. I want to walk with my shoes off. I want to talk to spirits. I want to talk to the ghosts. I want to deal with crystals. I want to burn sage. But then they start seeing some things that they shouldn't be seeing. I think when people hear the word spiritual awakening, they think that it's all positive. No, we have good spirits, bad people, good people. It's not really sweet, but so many people lose their mind. A lot of people. That's why you should never call someone crazy, because you don't know what they're going through. We get so focused on not liking our family members, not liking our boss, not liking our friends, we forget that the real battle is spiritual. Please raise your hand if you ever seen a spirit. Raise your hand if you ever seen a UFO. Raise your hand if you seen some things you wasn't ready for. If you seen some things and it got you kind of shook up, it's okay. You can handle it. But never have regrets about your spiritual awakening. Just remember, all spirits are not good spirits. What they say, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. Numbers can lie, but energy will never lie. What's taking place right now in this world is the new world order, but it's also revelations. Revelations just mean what was hidden is about to be revealed to the population. But okay, I come back to that. No, I'm gonna tell you, because so many religious people believe that God wrote the Bible. Can you imagine God coming down on his clouds writing a book? Why the hell do God need to write anything? I mean, if God is God, God can be everywhere at the same time, but you want to write a book? No. If you have a soul or a spirit, your book is written within you. It's called intuition. If you are still lost, searching for God or waiting for someone to come and save you, I think you need to look around, because nature is really God. Just think about it for a moment. Nature gives us a house to live, fruit, water, seeds, nuts, the sun, and we still believe that it's not God. What's taking place is revelations, but the people that control this world, they are the ones that wrote the Bible. The Bible is a script. They know it's millions of people that's going to follow this script.
So you guys, we made it to the end of the video. This was a very informative video, very a learning based video. I let the last video play by itself because I just needed it to be played by itself so you guys can just get the full understanding and understand that this is a spiritual battle, this is a spiritual war, and everything that happens in the 5D eventually comes down to the 3D, but in the beginning it's in the spiritual level. And never judge a book by its character. Number one, never pass judgment on somebody, because you never know when you may have to live that judgment. And watch how you treat other people, because you never know who you messing with, literally. I'm gonna let you guys go. I have things to do. Happy New Year to you guys. Enjoy your guys' holiday weekend, because I'm sure people have a lot going on. And I will see you guys on the next video. So until I see you guys again. Until I see you guys again, I love you guys very, very much. See if I get my lips in here. And then I will holler at you guys next week. Bye.